There is a lot of hype out there. As a customer, you can say, I'm really struggling with lead generation. And you can have a conversation and it'll be like, here are some recommended learning paths for you to go through, and then follow up with you and say like, well, how did that go? The way I like to think about it is AI isn't replacing our content creators, it's fueling them. We can't lose sight of the human part. Look at us today, like this is happening, we're humans, we're having a conversation. And yes, it's great to have these AI tools, but we can't get away from people who learn together, grow together. Parents, even today, when I chat with my siblings and they're trying to raise their kids, it's like, well, this is just the way they learn. And I'm like, it doesn't have to be. We have the power to create those different learning spaces for people. Being able to provide free, democratized education and now be able to do it in all these different languages because we have tools that'll enable us to do it. And that's where one of the best use cases that I've seen for AI is
Hi guys, welcome to Exec On AI, the podcast by Exec for Exec working on AI. So, on this podcast, we like real use cases, real story, and I'm so excited to have today Courtney with us. Welcome, Courtney.
Thank you so much for having me. I feel like this conversation has been like in the works for a really long time. I love that we're gonna have it. I love that we're doing it at Inbound. The energy is so high. I feel so eager to have the conversation. So thank you for having me.
I've been looking for this moment, so exciting times ahead. I want to introduce you, Courtney, before we start. There's so much to say about you, and I feel like people need to know. So first, you're Senior Director at HubSpot Academy. So this is your first hat.
My first hat, one of many.
Where actually you're leading one of the most impactful global digital learning platform. Big deal.
I think so. The team does some amazing work. The HubSpot Academy, been around since 2012. I just feel really fortunate to be a part of its story.
The second hat is you're pioneer in the use of AI in education.
The team is innovating like everybody should, and it's such an exciting time in the industry. We've heard it this week. There's so much that we can do with AI, and I know we're going to get into that, which is really exciting.
I've seen you so many times talking about what you're doing with AI, how you feel about AI. You've been doing many use cases, so we've got to jump into a little bit more into that. And the last but not least, you're also known as a visionary leader. People say you are someone who blends innovation, strategy, and human-centered approach to transform how education is delivered just at scale. I love the human part of it.
We can't lose sight of the human part. Look at us today, like this is happening, we're humans, we're having a conversation. And yes, it's great to have these AI tools, but we can't get away from people who learn together, grow together. That learning and the growth and connection is so important.
Let's jump into your origin and mission. Courtney, your career spins from nonprofits to building global education programs with HubSpot Academy. So I was wondering what the story behind your passion for democratizing education at scale, but also deeply being involved into AI. What's the story?
There's probably so many places that I could go with that, but the root of it for me and where I really became passionate about education was I was actually not a really good student growing up in the classical sense, right? The lecture-based, it was feeling hard for me. I struggled with it. And I got to university and I had this incredible professor and he taught this very flipped classroom. We discussed, we practiced, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, I'm not a bad student. I just wasn't getting the learning style that I needed to be successful. And when that unlocked for me, I became obsessed with different ways in which people learned.
I love that.
And it was amazing. As you said, I started my career in the nonprofit space. I used a CRM, not HubSpot. It was another one a long time ago. And we weren't happy with it. I was tasked with finding a new CRM, which is actually how I ended up at HubSpot. And it was a really great marriage of the things of I saw HubSpot being at the forefront of technology in so many different spaces, but also of education and human-powered content. And I fell in love. I mean, that was over 10 years ago now, which if you told me 10 years ago that I would still be here, I would have not believed you. But it's been a really great journey for me to also see now with AI. It continues to push on that of people learn differently and we have to meet them where they are.
I feel you had such a similar experience at school. Like learning was not interesting, but then I got to apprenticeship in France and I was passionate about it because it was real, like you were talking to real people doing real stuff.
And we don't talk about it enough. Parents, even today, when I chat with my siblings and they're trying to raise their kids, it's like, well, this is just the way they learn. And I'm like, It doesn't have to be. We have the power to create those different learning spaces for people.
yeah.
That's what I love about Inbound and these different events. It really breathes into that mentality, which is
different way of learning as well. So let's jump into the AI in education and how can we move from pain point to really break through. Every executive out there have heard about AI hype, and we don't want to talk about this. So let's be real. What was the actual pain point in education that made you think, oh, actually, I can finally help someone?
AI, there is a lot of hype out there, and some of it is great. With new technology, we should be talking about the possibilities and the opportunities and innovating. But for customer education and education in general, one of the hardest parts for us is keeping content up to date. Products have changed, new things have launched.
200 I've heard. 200 just today.
Don't, my heart rate. But it's a real challenge that we have in this space to keep our content up to date with our customers' needs.
Especially with different languages as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But AI and some of the tools really enable us to take in all the information, know what we have to update, and then facilitate the updating of that content. We use a framework in the team called efficiency, accuracy, and speed. We talk about AI. Can it help us be more effective? Can it help us be more efficient? Or can it help us go faster? And that really roots us in as a team of like, well, what are we trying to do? And how is that tool going to help us get there?
Yeah, makes sense. Like trying to find a way to prioritize as well all the ideas or all the requests that might come from the team.
Exactly.
It's a challenge. I would love to hear a concrete example that you had in your case where, we're talking a lot about maintaining all the programs accurate, updated, but did you have a specific use cases where you moved from maintenance to actually innovating, like real strategic way?
So with AI, we sort of had a couple of different routes that we could go initially, which was, how can we use it to help us innovate on process? Customer education is really rooted in process. If you don't have good process, you are not producing education at scale. And we produce so many pieces of content. Just yesterday, we launched over 200 pieces of content in 30 minutes.
Wow.
And
how did you do that?
AI.
Oh my gosh. But what specifically have you done?
So I'll talk about the process piece for a second, which is we use a AI tool inside our content database that enables us to prioritize what needs to go live, its status, and who needs to review it and publish it, et cetera. That used to all be done by hand in a spreadsheet with me and our content operations team going by hand and moving things basically through that funnel. Now AI facilitate that. That is a huge unlock for us.
You say AI, it's an algorithm, it's a tool. What is it?
So for us, we use Airtable AI. They recently launched their tooling in June. Airtable in general has changed my life, but I would say that AI tools, big change there. Our database is now essentially powered by AI.
Okay.
And it goes in and it will look and say, okay, the status of this content is ready to publish. And it'll put it into a new column database and it almost like a staging area, as you can think about it. And the time that saves us as a team allows us to go and then innovate in other areas. And that is huge.
And what do you mean by innovate?
Yes.
I'm really curious.
So the other big, maybe not scary part about AI, but with creators in general, it's like, well, avatars and agents are just going to take over for us. And when we started talking with the team, we're like, no. What we want to do is we want to implement some of these tools to guide our learning, make it more personalized. And so we're now using some homegrown tools that we're making here at HubSpot for our LMS that enable us to look at customer data and have better personalization and recommendations. Let's say you're using our email tool and you're not doing so well with it. Yeah. We can tell. Our back end is now powered with that data and Breeze Intelligence to then say, okay, why don't you take our email marketing certification? And we can deliver that just-in-time learning, and that's huge for our customers.
Oh, that's so powerful. So basically what we're saying is based on your customer activation, you can say, oh, actually my customer has bought this product but is not using it. So this is the course that's going to help him see the value of the product.
Exactly.
This is huge.
And then the other piece of that is we now have a feature called Ask Academy that's built right into Breeze Intelligence. As a customer, you can say, I'm really struggling with lead generation. And you can have a conversation and it'll be like, here are some recommended learning paths for you to go through.
So nice.
And then follow up with you and say like, well, how did that go? Did you learn what you were looking for? And have more of that interaction.
Yeah.
And so the way I like to think about it is AI isn't replacing our content creators. It's fueling them and giving us that personalization that we so desired for so many years.
When you're trying to help people, it's like a little bit the inbound philosophy.
Exactly.
It's not about giving publicity about your brand, but it's about being helpful because you know the challenge the customer is facing. Love that. And I'm also curious because we're talking about so many use cases that we can help the customer with using AI and have this positive impact. Where do you draw the line? Where do you say, this is definitely something I don't want AI ever to do for me in education?
I've had a lot of conversations about it, and I think part of it does come down to critical thinking. I still want our creators to be thinking in themselves about the experience they want to deliver to a learner. You hear a lot of things on LinkedIn about, well, just have ChatGPT write your course outline.
Yeah. Well,
okay. And that'll give you a good starting point. We definitely use Gemini and Claude to help facilitate that.
For inspiration.
It's sort of like going to a whiteboard and getting some ideas out there. When you're talking about educating an adult learner, you still need to be sitting down and be like, what is it that I'm trying to get across?
Oh, yeah.
What do I want them to take away? So we use a framework, why, how, what.
Okay.
Why does the learner need to learn it? How are they going to do it? And what is it going to look like? It's very simple, but I don't want AI to take away that opportunity for us to think about what I want to deliver to you as a learner. You know, you and I sat down to do this podcast. You thought about what you wanted to ask me, and maybe you asked ChatGPT to, help you refine it, but you still had an idea, and that critical thinking element.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want it to go away, because honestly, I think the world will be worse off if all we're doing is regurgitating whatever ChatGPT asked us to do.
It does ring a bell because a lot of people are afraid that using AI, they lose their intent. They tend to just follow what AI is giving them as this is the next step you should be following, or this is the content you should be creating. But then is it really you? Is that the message you want to give across? So coming back to this intent, who you are, express yourself, right? If we're going to the loop.
Exactly.
Inbound, we have to talk about it.
I love that can be an element of the facilitation of the AI tools can help you think deeper, but you shouldn't be giving away that element fully.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we talked a lot about impact in this podcast. We really care about impact, not just the business impact, but also the social or environment impact to make a better world, basically. I'm an optimistic. And so I would love to ask you, where do you see AI enable education playing a role in this other area, not just business, but also in a society, in the world?
Yeah. One of the biggest things that we still see in our world today is that education isn't easily provided or accessible to everyone. Each year, HubSpot Academy, we do a World Certification Week in which the proceeds go to providing education to individuals who don't have access to it.
Exactly. So it's basically 1 week, every person passes certification.
For every certification you take, it's a $5 donation, and then we match that, and we work with incredible organizations in Latin America, in Europe, in the United States. And AI, I think, is actually what's going to be the unlock for providing education to everyone.
When is the next one?
The next one is June 2026.
If you want
June 2026. Put it on your calendars.
It's open to everybody. You just go to HubSpot Academy and learn something. Give your time and money to people.
But that is the societal impact that we'll see. Companies like Duolingo is a great example. Being able to provide free, democratized education and now be able to do it in all these different languages because we have tools that'll enable us to do it.
Without making people feel bad about it. I used Duolingo and I was like, oh my God, this is so much pressure.
I know you're going to give a stream that I got. A lot of good things about the company, but I will say they've definitely impacted my mental health just a little bit.
Same here. So I want to talk a little bit about the future of education and also the intersection with skill. Because we all know the skills are changing in terms of leaders for your team, but also as an individual. I was wondering if you look ahead, like maybe 3 years from now or 3 months from now, because it's evolving so fast, how do you think AI will reshape not just learning programs, but really career path?
Yeah, so there's sort of two sides of that. Of we all need to be learning about the AI tools, right?
Yeah, we have to.
You have to. If you're not, I'm sorry, but you got to get started.
Yeah, the world is moving without you. So.
Exactly. But the way in which we're learning about AI is really changing. It's a lot more hands-on. When we think about 3 months, 3 years from now, I think the traditional way that we've acquired skills has been very passive.
Yeah.
You watch, you learn something, you try to do it, you repeat it, etc.
If you're lucky, many people don't even try to do it.
Exactly. But now we're really seeing the more learn by doing.
Yes.
And our customers tell us they want that. I see it. Yeah. And so these skills are going to be much more of like, let me test it out, see how it works, get feedback. And that's where one of the best use cases that I've seen for AI is that AI tutor who can give you real-time feedback. So
Tutor. Oh,
Yeah.
I know that.
So, for example, like you want to learn how to be a more executive presence communicator.
Yeah.
You can pitch AI, it'll give you real-time feedback, and
Oh,
you
yeah.
go back and forth. And it's this really safe space for us to do that. And so for me, if I were to put a word to it, it really looks like practice and context.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to have with the unlock that's we've wanted to do, but we haven't had the tools to do it.
I actually already see it in my work, in my day-to-day. My role is to work with partners to help them grow their business.
Yeah.
And how do you do that? You're like, hey, let me teach you how to sell. And we're like, who the hell are you?
You're like, I've got that. Don't worry about it.
It's super tough, even though you have insight to share,
Yeah.
a lot of learnings and a lot of tools from HubSpot. It's always hard. But then you come with this AI and you're like, hey, I have a safe space for you to just train and do role plays. They'll be like, oh, nobody's judging me. I can go and practice.
And it's a
Game
great
changer.
way to benchmark. So
Yeah.
you get data about how you're progressing. I think
yeah.
that's something as adult learners we really struggle with is
Yeah.
how am I seeing that I'm actually progressing in that skill? And now we'll be able to capture that unstructured data to really see that.
Because they feel it. The confidence is growing.
Exactly.
And then the deal code is...
Right. And then you see the outcomes and the impact and all the great things that we want to see.
I love that. I also want to talk about the skill sets. As a leader, what is the skill set you should start looking to prepare your team to master what's coming ahead? Like this new AI world, we've talked a lot about adaptability, curiosity. I don't know if there's something they should be focusing on for their team.
Yeah. In university, I studied conflict resolution.
So when it's a private,
And I have a certificate in peace and conflict studies. I worked with some incredible people. And I think that is one of the most important skills for leaders today on how you peacefully resolve any sort of conflict.
peaceful is key in
Repeat, peaceful. Because as, tools evolve, our ability to communicate with each other and how often we communicate is only increasing. It's in Slack, it's on Zoom, it's in person, it's in voice notes. There's so much that we're just
live, guys.
live from inbound. Speaking of communication, I might come back. But I see this in a lot of leaders right now as they're struggling when their teams disagree or people are worried about AI. They kind of take this step back and they're like, oh, well, they'll figure it out. And I'm like, no. As leaders, we need to help facilitate and manage conflict and have frameworks of we're going to disagree, but we're eventually going to commit to something and we need to move forward. For leaders, if they can practice that skill, they'll get better at it. There's an incredible book written by a man, Fred Kaufman. He talks about this sort of framework for teams, which is the way that teams are successful is by defining what their conflict is, talking about it, and moving forward. He talks about it from sports teams to leadership teams. And to me, AI is not going to be able to help you solve those conflicts unless you get in and communicate about it.
So it's about being proactive around all the conflicts that are around. What does it look like? Is it like in team meeting, you start with your team meeting, instead of doing an icebreaker today, we gotta talk about conflict. I don't know.
I mean, basically, yes. I think we hide a lot of our emotions and we keep a lot of things inside. So one of the things that I do with my team is in our staff meeting, we have a standing agenda item, which is like, what's not going well?
Amazing.
Like, what are the things? And it can be small things. It can be like, these emails aren't going out fast enough, or so-and-so isn't responding to my Slacks, like whatever it may be. But it creates that safe space to name, hey, this is bothering me. It might not be something that we fix right away. It might just be something that we mention, but getting it out there.
Oh, absolutely.
And bringing it to the surface so that it doesn't build up. We've all felt that in our teams, right? A little tiny thing that you don't mention,
Gonna grow.
it grows. And then
Like in couples.
Honestly, relationships. No one wants to admit that, but that's what working in.
So it starts small and then it grows.
It starts small. And so another thing I do with a lot of leaders that I work with is a stoplight exercise.
Stoplight?
A stoplight, yes. So are you red, yellow, or green?
Okay.
So when we come in to have a conversation, I want to level set with you. If I have some feedback for you, I'm going to be like, where are you at today? Red, yellow, green. And if you're a red,
then love good time.
I'm probably not going to give you the feedback. And I don't think we do that enough with humans. We just jump in and assume that our thing is so urgent and you need to hear it right now. You don't know what happened. I could have gotten into a car accident on the way over here. And to me, it's the marriage between we want to be able to get those things out there and still do it in a human-focused way that respects that other person.
I love this communication. And we've heard a lot about nonviolent communication. Like, this is the top of the iceberg.
There's so much in there.
More.
And we don't practice it enough. So when you end up in this situation where you do have really hard feedback to give somebody, how do you do it? Those are the things that you take home at night. Those are the things that weigh on you, where you are going for a walk with your partner and you're like, I'm really feeling low right now because I don't know how to progress through this situation.
That's so true. Thanks so for sharing. Like, actually, I just met a colleague earlier and he was like, are you okay? I was like, yeah. And he was like, but are you really? Like, why? Don't I lose them, Grace? And he was like, no, I'm just interested about you. I want to have the real story. And I was like, oh, this is interpenetrating.
Getting past that surface level, how are you doing today? And you're like, I'm good.
Yeah, exactly.
What did your day look like up to this point? How are you feeling?
Different question, different meaning.
Try to dig in a little bit more. It's always that second layer, and doing that for yourself. I do that to myself every day. I wake up, I'm like, how am I feeling? I'm like, feeling pretty good. And then I'm like, how am I really feeling? You know, I'm like, does my back hurt? Does my head hurt? And I think it's a great reminder for ourselves. We're humans.
Oh, yeah.
The world is moving faster than it ever has before. There's so much information we're consuming.
So much.
Just stop.
So much.
Do that like we did before the podcast. We took a little breath.
Feel good. Right? That. Yes.
Like, look, that would not happen.
Play the flower. Play the fire.
Exactly.
It's so important. Thanks for sharing, because we tend to forget that. So I know many leaders out there, many executives are trying to implement, or maybe this is their first AI project, or maybe they have already done some and are still trying to figure out what's the best practice, how to have the best impact. So I'm thinking, would you have an advice for them as a low risk, but worth trying, experimenting for high impacts?
Yes. One of the biggest recommendations I have for anyone who's just getting started with AI is identify one of your most annoying tasks, like the thing that you just hate to do.
You don't want to do.
You don't want to do. And for a lot of content creators and customer ed folks, it's the beginning process to create content, right? It's a backwards plan. It's sitting down and writing an objective. Create that as a template using Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, whatever tool you have, and just start to experiment with how much quicker you can create content with that small additive template, consistent way to do it. So get started there. And then the second thing for really high impact.
Just on that one, I love it because you feel it. And so it's better for you as a leader to be able to onboard your team.
It's one of those things that's very tangible. It's a very easy thing that you can then teach and actually give somebody, which I think is a big piece of it. The second element for high impact is looking at the areas for personalization. That can be automation. That can be implementing an assistant. That can be looking at having note takers that you're like. Any of those little things can build up to bigger impact. And one of the things I was saying, we were using Ask Academy. The amount of data we got from just a few conversations was more than we had ever had. And I think that's what leaders miss sometimes is it can be the simplest thing that it can unlock all of these new channels for you. And personalizations is a big one for customer education because we're adult learners. We want to have it personalized to us, and it's hard to do at scale. So where can you find those areas to get some of that data?
Especially when you're talking to senior people who have already a background.
Exactly.
How do you differentiate it? How do you add value? So if we want to sum up this education in the future, what's the story you want leaders to remember about the power of AI in education?
Yes. I use this quote a lot when I do presentations, and it's often talked about with startups, which is startups don't starve, they drown. They boil the ocean, they do everything. In customer education, I think we often fall into that category. We do everything. And we say yes to everything. When someone's like, can you do this video tomorrow? And I'm like, no, but how about we figure it out?
Let me see what I can do.
And with the future of customer education and AI, I think that quote is actually really representative. Don't try to do it all. Don't try to have avatars teach all your content and pass off AI with testing. Don't go and look at what some crazy person was able to say they did. No.
Oh, there's so many content like this. And
Start with the things that are impactful to you and your team. And it can be simple, and that's okay.
But how do you identify what's impactful?
For one of the recommendations I have is starting with an audit, which is what are the areas that you're really, your core KPIs right now? Is it retention? Is it usage? Is it activation? Whatever it is. And from there, do a self-reflection on all the things that are not going well for you to achieve that goal. The way that I like to describe it is, where are all the ways in which you're using hope as a strategy?
Hope is like,
I hope they open my email. Oh, I hope they got that piece of content.
Got it.
Oh, I really hope somebody followed up with that.
Yeah.
And when you're honest with yourself about those things, it's very easy to start to create that list where you could be using some of these AI tools to fill the gaps.
Oh, yeah.
Of, that email isn't very personalized. And maybe I do need that data to help us really facilitate that conversation. And so that would be my recommendation for folks. Look at those problems, be honest about where you're using hope as a strategy, create a short list, but don't do everything on it to begin with. Use one or two things, go through a couple iterations on it. And we have to get really comfortable with when it doesn't work, stop doing it.
Yeah, it's just nothing. Yeah.
We get so stuck in the no.
It's hard. It's hard to say I was wrong.
Yes, if you have been doing it for more than 3 weeks and it's not helping you, put the pen down. Use our favorite word, stop. Just stop.
It's gonna be the word of this podcast.
Yeah, just stop.
Awesome. So I'm sure you already implemented it, but I'm going to ask again. If there's one really annoying task that you would like to take forever out of your plate with AI, what would it be, or what has it been?
So what it has been for me, I'm a big physical note taker. I take a lot of physical notes. And I had found it really difficult to then share those notes with other people. I gotta type it up, etc. The first thing that I ever experimented with AI is I took a picture of my notes and I uploaded the picture into, I think it was Gemini. I asked it to transcribe the picture. And I was like,
I'm not expecting that.
I know. And I was like, does it work? It is amazing. So for me, I think a lot of people are like, oh, we'll just have a note taker do it. I was like, for me, I learn best by writing.
That's it, as a process. Yeah.
But I still want to share my notes with other people. And so at a conference like this, I have a whole notebook full of notes. Gemini is going to transcribe it after this week. And then I ask it to do it in a little book, 3 pages, write an intro, etc. on what my notes were.
Are you going to share on LinkedIn? Should we follow you?
Yes.
Courtney Sembler.
100%.
Courtney Sembler.
But you know what? It was one of those things where it was so simple and it's such a powerful thing for me.
Crazy, yeah.
And those are things that I would have loved to have 5 years ago. Do you know how much time I would have saved? Do you know how much more I could have done? For me, that was a big unlock. The second one has been, as not maybe an annoying task, but things that are really time consuming. Has been, I would love to read every article about customer education. I'd love to watch every podcast. And I use Gemini now to help facilitate what I should be recommending to my team. And it's a way to help facilitate and organize my thinking in a way I hadn't imagined before. It's super helpful.
That is so interesting. How do you use Gemini to help you?
Yeah, so I have a gem that I created about customer education news.
Okay.
And I uploaded a bunch of newsletters, subscriptions, and podcast episodes. I have a lot of lists.
Okay.
And I uploaded all of that. And I was like, I want you on a weekly basis to scan all of these websites and tell me some of the key points that I should go then follow up with.
Amazing.
I think a lot of people spend time on LinkedIn or whatever. What should I read? What should I look at?
So much info.
Being able to just have that streamlined of here's the top 5 things in customer education this week. It's been really useful.
That's so cool. And then you can deep dive if you're interested about the topic. So I'm going to leave you with this.
Okay.
I feel like I don't want to stop, but hey, you have to at some point. So can you describe AI in education in one word today and in one word in 5 years from now?
In one word today, I would say unlock.
Unlock.
Yes, it is the unlock. AI
potential, unlock.
Yeah, the possibilities. And I think if I would say 5 years in the future, pivotal. It was the pivotal point that we needed in customer education. It gave us access to the tools we needed. And 5 years in the future, I don't know everything that it's going to look like. I know customer education will still be a differentiator in businesses. And I know that it will have gotten even better because of AI.
Courtney, you're amazing. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm going to hug you because this was outstanding. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Of course.
More to come.
Yeah, more to come. That was so much fun. Oh, that was great.